What's going on, free world? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boy Xavier Khalid, Mr. X. Just get the name correct so I know that you respect. Back here with another video. This time we have some gaming news for y'all. Make sure you leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. Do what you do to a regular YouTube video. I'm gonna try and bring some of these news clippings to y'all. Maybe every day, maybe every couple days, every week. Who knows? We'll see going from here. But so the latest news that's been buzzing around all over Twitter, all over I seen it on Instagram. I mean, it's been everywhere. It's all in the blogs for anything gaming related. So Sony PlayStation says that they're going to end physical game discs beginning in 2028, starting January 2028. So what this could mean is that players are going to end up losing ownership and having to buy digital games and solely rely on the PlayStation Store to purchase PlayStation games. So a major change for the video game industry. Sony PlayStation says that it will end production of physical game discs in January 2028. Beginning at that time, new game purchases will only be able to be made on the PlayStation Store in a digital format from retailers. Now, I can tell you that myself, even buying the PS5, I got the digital download version. I didn't even get the disc version because I don't even play disc. I haven't played disc since PS3. I had only 2 discs on PS4, and one of them was 2K15 that I got that came with the PlayStation. So anyway, just a personal testimony. I haven't lost any of the games that I already bought because of the PlayStation Store, but I don't think that the game will just completely erase off your drive just because you have a PlayStation Store that operates solely based off of the network. If the network ever goes down or ever crashes and we see something like that, you still have your PlayStation games. I mean, even if the network goes down, who knows, the whole power grid might go down if the network goes down. Though then you won't be able to play games at all. Though I think that this will push and innovate towards the future solely because you have things like cryptocurrency, so they might be looking to form something off the crypto market. And if you own crypto, you own a lot of stuff, like whether you know it or not. You own like a major heavy asset that's not tracked by any government, that's not tracked by it's like a complete anarchy movement, like low key. If you think about it, if you keep your PlayStation, your PS4, your PS3, your PS6 that's coming out with all that digital content, and you just sell the PlayStation with all of that content on there, bro, and think about some of these games carry over from console to console. So think about how big that'll be on a crypto market. Think about how big that'll be on eBay. Think about how big, like 10-15 years from now, even though we're not going to own physical discs, think about when physical discs are obsolete. Like, nobody ever thought of that day. Like, it was a lot of people speculating on that day because of what the PlayStation did with the PS5, making it a disc version, a digital download version. Though you also have to think, like, what if it's a day where we don't have to go to the store, where they completely make GameStop obsolete, where they completely make Best Buy and Walmart obsolete? They're taking money from their own pockets, and they're gonna make it a hit. I mean, Sony is a very Japanese heavy game company. So anyway, getting into this back to this article, enough of the yap session. This is a natural direction from Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. And think about cameras. So you have cameras that went from Kodak cameras where you had to print it out. Not the first camera, because you also had those old school cameras that prints out the photocopy right there on spot, and you have to kind of fan it out a little bit and wait for the ink to set in the photo. This is just like that, changing like how cameras change. Everybody thought you was gonna lose everything on cameras. You just gotta save them the hard drives. And if we don't have a computer, we always have a computer. I mean, it's all radiation. Like, radiation is gonna stay here. So, I mean, as long as it's a sun, there's gonna be power somewhere, and there's gonna be some way to get that power. Though this transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. The move marks the end of an era, as PlayStation was the console that helped popularize video game discs in the first place. While it wasn't the very first gaming platform to use them, the PlayStation's instant success in 1994 turned the disc into the media of choice for video game consoles from that point onward, ultimately sparking a battle for gamers with Microsoft's Xbox. So you gotta think, they moved it forward. They turned it into, they helped popularize video game discs, and now they're helping popularize the digital market space for games. And who knows, this might actually make our games cheaper. You know, now that there's no disc, now that we're not competing for disc, they might make it to where you have to buy. It's either gonna go one end. It's gonna go, you have to buy unlimited microtransactions for games, and the ultimate editions and stuff price is gonna be super high, or the digital games are gonna cost significantly less, and you're gonna be able to rack up on all these games for the future that people never heard about. Just like when they first came out with disc and the PS2, and the guys from the PS2 was like, yo, we need to collect this right now because it's gonna be worth so much more in the future. Like, think about how many people on eBay are selling PS2s. The PS2 itself isn't worth anything, and the controller isn't worth anything, but the games are worth it because there were so many games that came out back then. So you have to think about that realization too. Now they're actually making the console worth something because the console is going to come with the games. Okay, the console is going to come with the games, and then as they upgrade, the controller is going to also look into the fact that, hey, this controller is only compatible with this game system. Just like you can play some PS4 games on the PS5, but you can't play a complete PS5 game with a PS4 controller. You can only play PS4 games on the PS5 with a PS4 controller. So it's just so many ways to write. Like, I understand the ownership thing. I'm all about ownership because I also made music, and I completely made my own music studio, so I can have ownership of everything that I do and own my own time on how I do music and when I do music. Though the thing is, you also want to look at the other end where, okay, now you have these digital download copies, you have everything in place to actually decide, do I want to lower these prices, do I want to keep these prices, and then even think about the console. Once this console life cycle is over with, do I want to keep this console and all the memories with the games in this hard drive, it's SSD drive if you install one. So you got to think about all of that. The news from PlayStation comes just a few days after Rockstar Games announced that its upcoming title, Grand Theft Auto 6, easily the most anticipated game in years, will be digital only, sparking anger from longtime fans because they want the disc. People used to collect guides. People want to pop that disc in, but your disc gets scratched up, you break it, a little kid get a hold of it and mess up your disc. It's all types of stuff. With digital download, it's just taking up hard drive space. But that's going to be the main issue with this, is the space on these consoles, because you remember a couple years ago Sony ran out of space, and we're in a freaking deficit right now due to it's either hard drive or SSD drive space, but we're fighting for space right now, and because everything's become cloud and we don't have all the resources to keep making these drives. So that's gonna be something that's interesting, how they move forward with that. In a terabyte, selling only terabyte units, or selling, so people have enough space on these games. But with everything going digital, and Rockstar about to be a super, super mega download, you have to think to yourself, like, what's going on, like where we headed with that? Where are we headed with, keeping everything locked into play to where we don't run out of space, not just on your personal console, but as a people on earth thing, a global reach thing, global resource pandemic. So that's what we have to watch out for. So we're gonna look into something next. It was a video that they just had here. Damn, it went off. But either way, that was the news for today. Make sure y'all leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. It's been your boy Zay, Free World Gang, and I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. Keep holding it down. The saga continues. Peace. Love y'all.